Ivy Slater, and you're listening to Her Success Story Podcast, a show where gutsy businesswomen share their success journey. Hi, it's Ivy Slater. Welcome to this episode of Her Success Story. I'm thrilled to have you join me today. With my guest is Ruthie Schulder. She's the president of at the Participation Agency. So let me tell you a little bit about Ruthie, real brief, and then we're going to have Ruthie share a little bit about herself. She's the CEO of the Participation Agency. She has reinvented the agency model and strives to develop radical experiential campaigns with brands as partners, not clients. Love that premise, by the way. Ruthie was named Inc.'s Millennial CEO Rising Star and one of Adweek's Disruptors. The Participation Agency has won a CLIO Award, an X Award, and a consecutive placements on Inc.'s fastest growing private companies list. Ruthie is a powerhouse, so thanks for taking time out of your busy day to join us. You're going to share a little bit of your clients have included everything from Airbnb to Sour Patch Kids, Red Bull, Oreo, and many, many others. Ruthie, thanks for sharing, and thank you for hurling down out of like a construction zone to talk to us as things are in growth and expansion.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you.
So tell me a little bit about how you got into before we even venture into the Participation Agency, but how did this advertising agency, marketing, advertising background, where did this come, what was intrigued in the business for you? You talk, I clearly can't. I clearly can't today.
Sure. I'll take it over. So I actually think that the real root of the agency and the business came from, I think I'm kind of a natural marketer, to be honest, but also really, really came from, honestly, my roots and my business partner's roots in entrepreneurship. Both of us had small businesses, earlier in our 20s. And then Jessica, my business partner, and I went to NYU Business School, and we were getting our MBAs, and we had met and we had worked on some projects together in our former companies. And we had decided that we were going to do something. And while all of our friends were going off and getting finance jobs, like right before the recession hit, we just knew that this entrepreneurial path was really who we were as people. And so sat back and said, like, what is the place of marketing that really is growing and is really a place where we could actually, if we start now and if we really have a point of view, where we could really do something that has impact. I do think that I've kind of been a natural marketer. And I think that at the root of that is that I'm both a strategic thinker and a creative thinker. So if you are a strategic thinker and you can identify the business problem, and then the creative part of your brain kicks in and you can come up with some creative solutions, and then you're a proactive person who knows how to act on them, I think that makes you a good marketer. And I those are just parts of me that have always been there. And I just figured out that I could, dive into them a little bit and hone them and make them a part of my skill set.
So you were graduating, you and Jennifer, and said, okay, let's do this. So where did it start? Where does it go from this idea of let's do this into an agency working with nationally recognized brands?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we were really clear on the fact that the company had to make money from day one. And so
repeat that. That is such an important teaching component who think like, we'll get there. So I really want to hear about this. So from day one, you said, this is a business, we're going to make money.
Yeah.
Now.
And to your point from before, like a lot of, I know a lot of people over the years who are, I'm going to quit my job and start a blog, or I'm going to do all these things. And I go, that's really great. And not to be too abrasive, but like, until it starts making money, it's a hobby.
That's the true fact.
And like, know that. Yeah,
And there's nothing wrong with hobbies. I just prefer to do my hobbies, like that might be bead making over a glass of wine or something, or
totally.
playing pickleball or taking a tap class. I have different hobbies that are not businesses.
Totally. And so we were really clear on that because we like to make money. And so we were able to really wrangle. Both of us are good salespeople. And because we're entrepreneurs, we have a hustle mentality, and we know how to, create a vision for that somebody will buy into. And so we really just like hustled up some business at the beginning. And at the beginning, we got our business through other agencies. So other agencies, a couple of other agencies had taken on projects that they didn't actually have the creative for, or they couldn't execute them. And so they would hire us to come in and do that work on the back end. And that's kind of like the first year and a half of our company. That was most of our business. And then slowly we started getting to those clients directly. And then we had a portfolio, and then we had contacts, and then we were able to just build it that way.
So I love what you're saying is you leverage what you could to start, and then you started building relationships through that opportunity, because I'm a true believer that relationships are the golden ticket to success in business,
Mm-hmm.
in life in general.
I agree with you 100% on that.
So you started building. How long have you guys been in business? Because you've had some major accomplishments.
Yeah, almost 9 years, 8.5 years.
And what have you seen transcend over the 8, 9, going on 10 years?
So in terms of our success of building our business, what I have seen transcend is really sticking to our point of view. Our work is very applicable, but it's also somewhat niche. And we like that. And it self-selects out who are going to be the right partners for us. And in our field of experiential marketing, it means a lot of things to a lot of different people. And so I think that you really have to have a vision that you then apply to all your different projects, and the creative ideas are different across the board. But I really think that us believing or understanding what really works for us, which is coming up with like very out of the box ideas that are tied to a digital strategy that are executed in a certain way. We just know that. And we really just went super hard on the things that we believed in, that we know we were good at, that we know were also the right things, like for the marketing problems that we were dealing with. And we kind of have never wavered from that. And that to me has been the biggest thing in elevating our growth constantly is, and we redefine the vision, as we need to and want to. Like every 2 years we sort of evolve of like, how are we, what's our beacon guiding light for the next 2 years? But we always have one. It's never just, well, this person called and wants X, and so we should do it. That's never our thing. Like we're very much, we have a specific way that we work. We have a specific way that we come up with concepts because it's tried and true for us. They've really become our best practices. And I think leaning into that, and now we've become a much more values driven company. We're really focused on sustainability, inclusion and diversity, and wellness. And those are even more guiding lights for us. And the more we are really fierce about protecting what's important to us, the better our work and the faster our company grows.
So, what have been some of the surprises for you in growing this company?
So many. I mean, every day is a surprise. I think that I was a young entrepreneur in my 20s, but had small businesses that didn't really go anywhere. And I really do feel like so lucky and blessed and accomplished and proud and all of those things. But just the fact that I built something like really awesome and really sustainable, and like we've never taken a cent of funding, and we're 30 people strong, and we have some of the biggest clients in the world, and we do projects globally. And not only do I get to do all of those things, but I get to do them with projects I actually really care about. And as the company gets bigger, and as we get to be a little bit more choosy about who we say yes and who we say no to, we get to work on projects that are so incredible and so fun that we know are going to have an impact, not just for our clients, but like, because we're doing a lot of work in the sustainability space now and in the diversity space, like not only are these projects smart and right and fun, but like they matter. And that's really awesome. And I actually just sat back and kind of like made a list recently of all the ways in which my job fuels my soul. And I
Ooh,
was kind of
share more about
surprised.
that, because that's huge.
Yeah.
What drove you to
Yeah.
do that?
I am doing there's this digital platform called To Be Magnetic, and it's all about like manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working
Love
through the
some good
yeah,
love some good
manifest,
manifestation.
and I'm working through like the money module of the
Yeah.
manifestation piece of this. And one of the journal prompts was, does your career feed your soul? Why or why not? And I actually took the time. I mean, I take the time for all of it, but I really sat down, and I think I was kind of surprised once I'm out of the weeds and once I'm out of the, oh my God, I have so much work to do. Oh my God, this is stressful. I really wrote down all of the ways in which my job feeds my soul. And like, I'm really, really, really lucky, but truly and honestly, my job truly feeds my soul from the fact that I get to build a business. I get to see it be successful. I get to work on projects that are awesome. I get to surround myself with amazing people, both from the employee side, the client side, all the partner side, all of it. Like, I'm creating the world in which I want to live through this business. And it's really lucky. And like, I didn't know it's not necessarily that I'm so surprised, because I didn't think it wouldn't happen, but I also didn't know that it could or would. So I think that's a surprise.
That's fair. What have been some of the challenges in building a business for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest challenge for me as at a high level is I've never built an agency before. And so like it's not like I did this and I'm like, oh, rinse and repeat, but like every day is a new challenge, a new opportunity. I think for us, knowing the kinds of things we want to work on and really staying true to that is definitely a challenge, because it's easy to get swayed by, well, we'll just take a check, or we'll just do this crappy little thing in order to get maybe the bigger thing. But I really think that kind of like being fierce about just going for it is a big one. And I also think saying no is always a challenge, and especially for people who started. I mean, we started our company, we were 2 people in a room slightly larger than a suburban walk-in closet around a table. And, like, we still have the roots of that, of the, like, this was a baby company and we put our blood, sweat, and tears, and we still do, but really growing it. And you're always looking for opportunities, and you always have to keep your eyes open, but also being able to say no is incredibly important. And that's not news to anybody, but it matters. And it's hard, when you're like, oh, maybe I should just take the check, but then you have to be like, I'm not going to enjoy this. It's going to drain my team. It's not a portfolio piece. It's kind of going to suck. Let's not do it. And like, every time, I just said no to somebody earlier today, and it's with a woman I met who I like absolutely love, but like the budget's just not right for us. And I just have to call her and say, I love you, the budget's not right for us. And maybe they'll call us again in a year when they have the money, and maybe they won't, but like, that's just something I had to do.
And I think there's a lot of learning around the concept of saying no, and growth around it. It starts with the little no, and and the understanding of starting to touch base and understand your values and where yes and no come from.
Totally. Yeah. And also like it once you get used to it, and I'm more used to it now, it's so freeing and it's so empowering. And then sometimes it's, this person is going to drive me crazy and I don't want that. And sometimes, because our growth has been somewhat rapid, the people who were spending money with us in the early years, there were a couple of people who they were only ever going to spend a certain amount of money with us, because in their minds we were in a box and we were never going to get out of that box with them. And so that was really why we started saying no at the beginning to some people, of just saying, well, that's great that that's what you want to work on, but we're actually already working at a much higher level. And so it's been a great 2 years together, but like we're moving on.
Sometimes having business partners are the greatest asset and also can be the biggest challenges. What have some of your and Jennifer's, how have you worked together to make this an asset for both of you for so long?
Yeah. I have a lot to say about partnership. I also first want to say, because this is advice that I give often because I just see it over and over again, I think that people's first business partnership most likely will fail. Everyone I know that has started a business has had like a bad first partnership. And so what I say to people is like, do it, but like jump in, dive off the deep end, but like structure your first partnership so that if you have to unravel it, it's not so messy. But Jessica and I we really have a very deep respect for each other. I think at the beginning, we both did kind of everything. And then because we were such a small company, we had to do everything. And then over the years, we've really figured out our lanes, and we're fierce about staying in our lanes. We never let people pit us against each other. We both work with business coaches that are incredibly helpful to our growth. And we also just spend time to like nurture our partnership. And in addition to being business partners, we've become over the years like sisters or like best friends. And she has total respect and support for my life choices, and I have total respect and support for her life choices. And when you know that about somebody, even when you're arguing about something with business, it's not personal. Like she has my back and I have her back, and we both know that, and we talk about it, and it's a thing that everybody around us knows. And so we're able to weather the storms that happen. I mean, they always happen. I get pissed off, I get annoyed, I get insulted. I'm sure she does too. But we're able to weather them. We have the tools now. And I think that has to do with our relationship, but it also honestly straight up has to do with the coaching that we have. And I think executive coaching is like the best thing I've ever done for myself and my career. But it gave me the tools and it gave me the perspective. And that is like an invaluable thing.
I leaves me speechless. And yes, I can't agree more. Developing, having had partners in my own past in printing in different ways at different times. Some have worked, some have not, some have worked for a while, some did not. If I would have had the bandwidth, the knowledge, anything as far as coaching at that time, I could only imagine how much better things could have been. And it doesn't say they were bad, but the ability to really understand being on that same page, the same goal, your boundaries, your values is a huge breadth of knowledge.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So in this time in building a business, you're no longer in your 20s.
Yeah,
True. Life continues to evolve. How has, continuing to build your own lives been an asset or an impact on building your business?
Well, I'm married and I have 2 small kids. I have 5-year-old twins. I don't know. I'm also like an Aries and I'm a New Yorker, and it's my personality to like take on a lot and have a lot on my plate. I like having a lot of balls in the air. I always wanted to have children. It was a thing that I was definitely going to do. I had my kids when I was 32, which I think was like an interesting time and a good time. It also allowed me to, now that they're older and they're 5, I'm traveling less because my time away, impacts them more. When they were babies, I could do it because they have no concept of time. And it was really helpful to be able to do that because I do business development, and it was helpful for me to be on the road. I mean, I think, being an adult and having I have a home and I have a support system and I have people that surround me that I'm super close with, and, I have a mortgage and all those things. I think it's been really great for me. To me, I live a very holistic lifestyle between work and home and family, and it's the ecosystem of my world, and it works for me. And, I'm trying to rope my kids in more, and they come to the office now and again. And my husband also has his own company, and I bought them a book about what does it mean to be an entrepreneur. And now my daughter takes a fake cell phone and says she's calling her cousin to have business meetings, which I think is amazing. It's all one life for me. I can't imagine it being any other way. I've never lived any other way. I started working for myself when I was very young. And so this is what I know.
I respect that. Coming from huge amounts of similarities, New Yorker, Aries. I've been a business owner since been in business development since my 20s, became a partner in a company when my daughter, who's now 27, soon to be even older, was before she was one. And my husband's always been an entrepreneur, and he's always owned a business. So it's an active, busy life, and it's a life definitely that when you incorporate it all, it's fabulous.
Yeah. And I feel so lucky. Like I haven't traveled in like 5 months, but last year I was about to get on a plane, and my daughter was like, you're always going on a work thing. And not that I'm always going on a work thing, but in her mind, you're always going on a work thing. And I said, she said, oh, you're going to have fun, and you're going to have fun without us, something like that. And I go, you should feel really lucky that you have a mom who really likes her job. And I said, that's really special, and not all adults get to like their job or get to do a job that they love. And I said, and I really do. And I think that when you get older, I hope that you're going to be happy for me, that I have a job that I really love. And, I'm starting to also mold that conversation of like, they got to get on board, because they should be happy for me that I have a job that I love. And just like I'm happy for them when they do things that fuel them. And so I'm starting to message it that way too, which I think is going to be helpful.
Love it. So what, if you could share one tip from your journey, from your adventures with our listeners today, in building a business and being a working mother, what would that tip be?
I think that it is like, just be relentless to the thing that is right to do. And everybody has different goals, and everybody has different ambitions. And for some people, we want to make a ton of money. For some, it's about living your truth. For some, it's about combining a combination of factors. I've been I've always been really tapped into my intuition, but even as I get older, and as I see decisions that I've made play out for me for good, that these decisions have supported me in my growth and in my journey, I'm really connected to my intuition even more. And I think everybody kind of really is. And I think just being confident to listen to that and to have it steer you is like a very powerful thing. On the flip side of that, like if you're going to start a business, you better have a stomach of steel, because it's not for everyone, and it's really stressful. So know that, and it's going to be painful, but the benefits are worth it.
Love it. How can our listeners know more about Ruthie and the Participation Agency?
Yeah, so our website is thisisthepa.com, and my email is Ruthie, Ruthie, @thisisthepa.com. And we're actually about to announce some really exciting new projects and initiatives in the next couple of months. And look out for that. I'll post some stuff on LinkedIn, and we also actually host a monthly women's event in partnership with the Soho House every month in New York. So if anybody is interested in that, reach out to me, and I'll get you added to the list.
Fabulous. Ruthie, thank you for joining me here today. Thanks for taking some time. Listeners, find out more about Ruthie, understand what it is to be a woman leader, a woman entrepreneur, and a woman who's making change in the world, staying true to your values, building and teaching forward, not just to us, but also to her children. So I respect that enormously. Thank you. See you next time. Remember to leave a review here. Let us know what you like, what you want to hear. We're here to serve our community. Thanks.
Don't need your approval anymore, 'cause I've got my